Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Over the Board Chess Tournament series. In this series, I play over the board chess tournaments. Riveting introduction. This is the second round recap of my first tournament of 2026. I'm playing here in New York City. I won the first round. It was a complicated Sicilian. And since returning to over the board chess, primarily in New York, I have played an average age of opponent of like 14 years old. This opponent raised that average age by several months. In this round, I'm playing, I think, a 17-year-old who's rated around 2180 American, 2040 FIDE rating. And it was a super interesting game, and I even got to do my favorite thing. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe. You too can get this hoodie if you like. It's in the merch shop. It's you know, I gotta tell you, I never set out for Sacrifice the Rook to be as big as it is, but that's what happens. That's what happens. The meme is alive and the meme is well. Yeah, let's go. Let's get into this game. So I was late. It was a weekend train schedule in New York City. I set out, actually, I was going to be on time, but I got to my transfer point and the next train was in like 11 minutes. So I was 14 minutes late to the game. So if that hadn't happened, maybe I would have only been about, 5 minutes late. But I was 14 minutes late to the game. But my plan in the opening was I'm going to play d4, and we will see. I don't know what my opponent plays. You can't really prepare for these tournaments because the pairings come out, like, you only find out your opponent, like, 15 minutes before the game. Also, people, are learning all sorts of openings. My opponent went knight f6. I was like, okay, I don't know if he's going to play e6 or g6, so I went knight f3, played a waiting move, just developing, not committing to anything just yet. And then he went g6, which I wasn't, ecstatic to see. I was not expecting a King's Indian. I just thought he was going to play some sort of d5, e6. But it didn't really matter. I had already made up my mind before the game that if he, really regardless of what he was going to do, my third move was going to be e3. So I'm kind of playing this like a collie, the opening with bishop to d3. Only bishop d3 makes less sense against the King's Indian because in many lines, black wants to go e5, and if black goes e5, black will threaten a fork. Also, the bishop on d3 does not actually pose any meaningful threat, so it's kind of in the way. The way to play this against the King's Indian defense is to play c4, bishop e2, knight c3, short castle, and you just don't give black the satisfaction of playing all of the really long, complicated lines of the King's Indian. So I played bishop e2, my opponent castled, and I castled, and here he went for his first think, which was confusing, but then I realized maybe he wasn't trying to play the King's Indian, maybe he was trying to play the Grunfeld with d5, and those are just very different systems. So he spent some time and, in fact, went d5. Now this, again, I don't know anything about my opponent. I don't know if he is a Grunfeld or a King's Indian player, but this is obviously just a very, very equal position. My intention from the opening was going to be to just slowly develop everything, really, first of all, catch up on time, 15-minute time deficit, and also, I just want to play faster. I kind of want to trust my intuition, so I just played b3. There is nothing, sharp or interesting about this move, but I am baiting my opponent into playing c5, at which point, this would be, c5 would be a perfect Grunfeld setup. If he had played c5, I followed by knight c6. I was even thinking to just play c3, just be really solid, bishop b2, knight d2, there's no theory here at all. We just developed the game from there. But he thought for a little while and played c6. Now, this is already a bit of a psychological victory for me. The fact that my opponent is so voluntarily playing such a passive move is a win. I mean, it kind of shows lack of, confidence in the position, you know, lack of trust somehow. Because surely c5 is very natural, and I was feeling pretty good after c6. I played bishop b2, and I want to play c4, and I want to develop my pieces. And now I figured like black should play the bishop or play the bishop here, and then play knight d7. But my opponent went knight d7 straight away, which these two moves together, I was like, what? What about the light squared bishop? So I went c4. And I was like, okay, I guess the light squared bishop is going to b7. I guess that's what's happening. And, you know, I'm going to play knight c3, queen c2, put my rooks in the center of the board. He thought now for a little bit more time, and now I'm actually up on the clock, which is nice. And he went knight e4. And I was like, okay, I get it. This is his way of trying to liberate his position. He wants me to develop my knight as I had planned. He's going to trade the knight, and then he's going to play knight f6, and then he's going to bring out his bishop. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm just not going to trade the knight. Like here, I can play a bajillion different moves, and it's clear that he wants to play knight f6 followed by some sort of bishop move. The computer really likes the move queen c1 here. I'm not strong enough at chess to understand this move. I think basically it's like, well, black is going to put the bishop on f5, so why would you put the queen on c2, which looks more natural to connect the rooks? So queen c1, rook d1, and then it just kind of wants to play. It just wants to play like c5, I guess, and just expand. Again, I was not trying to spend all that much time, so I just very quickly went queen c2. There is nothing wrong with the move queen c2. And I figured that when he plays knight df6, which was clearly his whole idea, I would quickly respond bishop d3. So now I am ready to meet the move bishop f5 without actually having my queen exposed, and then I will proceed with the game from there. Another option I considered here was the immediate knight jump into the center of the board, knight e5, as a result of him playing knight f6. And this prepares the move f3, just trying to remove his knight. I didn't go knight e5 because I thought if anything, he can just go back and trade my knight. But the computer is very unimpressed by this. It just wants to go rook d1 and actually take like this, which is logical. I just somehow thought my pawn might be weak. But no, it's not only is it unafraid, it's like trying to go g4, like same side attack. If black plays solidly, you play f3, you kick the knight out, and you just have a very nice position because black's pieces are all kind of in disarray. So yeah, maybe knight e5 was a bit more accurate because it wouldn't have even allowed bishop f5 as I have g4. But the computer wants to go h5 to stop g4. And then f3, knight d6, and then the game proceeds with him actually still getting the bishop to f5 with an equal position. Maybe white is slightly better. Anyway, bishop d3. Now here I didn't quite understand, but he spent 28 minutes on this move. I was like, what is going on? Because I just thought he has to play bishop f5. I have absolutely no idea what else he could possibly do. And he did play bishop f5, so I don't know what ghosts he was considering. And I was, you know, I was thinking like, this is kind of annoying because what's going to happen now is he's going to be able to play knight d6. He's going to trade with me. He's going to relieve some of his pressure. My original intention here had been, again, to play knight to e5 to prepare the move f3, but I rejected this because, again, knight d7. And yeah, knight d7 is just an annoying move. If I play the move f3 here, he just plays knight d6. And even if I get to play the move e4, which I thought I might be able to play, he can just go back. And I don't know. I did not feel like I have anything here. It's like he's going to just pull apart my center pretty quickly. He has queen b6 ideas. I was not very convinced. Here's a computer line. Knight takes, queen takes, king h1. Yeah, I mean, no one's playing king h1. I don't even understand. C takes, c takes. This makes much more sense to me. But after knight f5, I think black just has a completely reasonable position. Bishop is coming to h6. But, okay, yeah, white has a little bit maybe better chances. But, so here I ended up just going c5. I don't think c5 is the best move, but at least I'm stopping knight d6. And then he went knight d7. And this makes sense. He's stopping me from playing knight e5 and trying to play f3. And at this point, I really wanted to play the move knight c3. I wanted to play knight c3 so that when he took me, I would take the bishop on f5, pawn takes, and bishop c3. And here I thought I have a better position, and I'm right. So he would have to go here, and we would play this, where he would have a good control over e4, but his bishop is kind of ass. And I just have a very easy game. I just play like a4, like knight e1, knight d3, you know, if he plays knight f6, I play knight e5, and then knight d3, and even this position is good for white, because this bishop is just not as good as my knight. And I was just going to do that. I was going to play knight c3, but then I just, like, didn't. I was like, well, I can play knight c3, but that's not going anywhere, so I can play it whenever I want. And I do this sometimes where I, like, look at something and I go, am I rushing? Can't I just play, like, b4 first? Like, what's the rush? I just knight c3. Okay, I mean, b4, I don't know what's the difference. So I went b4, which was stupid. I mean, not stupid, but I should have just went knight c3. Still, the computer thinks the best move here is rook e8. And I'm not actually threatening to win a pawn here, because at the end of the sequence, my bishop is hanging, and he has knight c5, which is pretty sick, actually. I just thought we had to go into that sequence. But after I played b4, securing the c5 pawn, he just played e6. And now the difference is that he doesn't have to take with the g pawn. In the previous version, he had to take with the g pawn. Now he can take with the e pawn, and this is a totally different structure, because now black has an open e file, semi. And yeah, there's just nothing here. And I was like, oh, all right, well, that's annoying. Now we got to outplay our opponent in this position, so I just went a4. That's where I have more space. I definitely don't have much of an advantage, and my time advantage is also dwindling, which is annoying. He went queen c7, and at this point, yeah, after the move knight c3, I figured, you know, he would just trade and he would play e5. That's just what I thought was going to happen. So bishop takes, queen takes, e5, and I was going to play d takes, knight takes, bishop takes. I was not going to take with a knight. I was going to play this position, rook b1, and play knight versus bishop with a queenside expansion. But objectively, the position is completely equal. I mean, there is nothing here. But I was going to play this position. Then he started playing really weird moves, and he started playing them really fast. And I was just thinking, like, what is he doing? Like, I didn't understand. So he went rook ae8, which didn't make sense to me, because it also gave me the option to take on f5. Now, what's funny is that's actually the best move. But you might be thinking, wait a minute, Gotham, mister, didn't you just say you don't want, you don't want this structure? Yes. Except after this structure is good, because the included moves a4, rook ae8 only benefit white. They do not benefit black, because his rook is passive, and this rook left the queen side. So now I would just play b5, and I have nice attacking chances, rook b1, a5, which makes sense, but I don't know. I kind of got it into my head that that structure was just not what I wanted to play. Although, yeah, I should probably play bishop f5 now. But I was just trying to kind of keep pace with him because he was playing fast, so I tried to play a move quickly as well, anticipating, again, bishop d3 and e5, thinking that that's what he was going to do. And then he did this and played f6. And I was like, what? Ain't no way this is good. Ain't no way. I'm like, what? He's trying to play e5. He wants the whole cake and to eat it too. Now, I actually could let him do that. And then I could wait for him there. Like, I could play rook e1, e5, and then at the second he plays e5, I could play for e4, which in retrospect, I probably should have done. The point is that if takes, I can give him a check, and then I can take on e4, and I clear the position better than he does, something like this. And actually, there's even rook sacrifices in the air, you know? It's on the hoodie. So with my dark squared bishop putting pressure on him, you know, something like this. Instead of that, I mean, I played e4 straight away, which is also fine. It's the best move. Takes, and now I force him to switch his plan. I force him to go f5, and I retreat. And yes, he's going to bring his knight to f6 and d5 here. But I was just thinking, like, this is not what he wanted. I mean, now he has a massive weakness on e6. The e5 square is terrible. And he went knight f6. And here, oh, God, I overthought things here so badly. So when he originally went knight f6, I was thinking, like, the knight is going to d5. Obviously. That's like, look at where, I mean, it's a beautiful square. But when he went knight f6, I was like, actually, the knight is really good on e4 too. Because on e4, it blocks my e-file. It blocks me from pressuring, and it blocks my control of e5. So actually, I think the better move is to go here. My original intention was to go rook e1, and I didn't go rook e1 because I was thinking knight e4 is really annoying. And the answer, yeah, it just literally is. And I would play like rook d1, and he would go rook d8. This is no longer a target. He's going to put his rook on d5. And I don't know. I mean, this did not smell like a good position for me. And I'm glad that the computer agrees with me. So when I realized the knight was coming to e4, I was just like, damn, like, wow. Like, this ridiculous structure is actually going to work out somehow. So I just went b5. I said, you know what? I got to keep playing over here. I'm actually pretty happy. This was the best move. Playing on all the sides of the board. And, like, without even thinking, he put the knight on d5. I was like, oh, my God. Like, man, chess is so annoying. Like, because the thing is, during the game, you don't know if you're overthinking things. Because if you're constantly getting hit with things you aren't expecting, like in this game, f6, knight d5 instead of knight e4, I think a very confident player who has a trail of success behind them probably is like, huh, what an idiot. He put the knight on d5. I'm like, I mean, I do have those thoughts. I didn't think he was an idiot, but like I have those thoughts about my opponents. I'm like, what are they doing? But sometimes when it's like 3 or 4 moves in a row, I'm like, am I the idiot? Like, what's happening here? I mean, like, why? I realized the knight going to e4 was actually better than going to d5 because the d5 square would go to the rook for black and everything. But every move he's playing, now I'm thinking like, okay, I think both bishop retreats are good. I think here the bishop's kind of in the way of all the pieces, but it controls the knight, right? But here it stabilizes the center and doesn't get in the way. I didn't know. I ended up just going to b2. Not the best move. The best move is bishop d2 because, first of all, I stop any expansion. More on that later. Second of all, yeah, it's just the better square, and the rook can go to a3 and come over this way. Anyway, I went to b2. It's worse, but it's not terrible. And he went bishop f6. And again, he's played the last few moves really fast. He's also huffing and puffing a lot, which, you know, that's... he was doing like the starter pack of like professional chess. He like went to my side to look at the board. He's cheating. He's looking at the board from my side, you know? He's like looking at my monitor. I'm joking. Yeah, and he was getting like, he was like building up a lot of energy, you know, like he's going to go g5, g4. And I started getting a little worried because, you know, your king is going to be under attack. It's not a particularly pleasant thing because I don't really have a counterattack. Like, I'm just going to put my knight in the center and sort of hope I'm not getting mated. So I went rook e1, and he went g5. I'm like, all right, well, he's trying to mate me. King h8, rook g8, queen g7. And I'm still trying to stay up on the clock, right? Because that's like a very important part of this game. I put my knight in e5, right? I mean, this is what I wanted. I get the e5 square. Long term, I have some pressure over here. Maybe a5, a6 is possible. And he went king h8. And I'm still thinking like, am I going to get mated? This is kind of messed up. So here, I looked at moves like a5. Obviously, I can't play a5 because I would just lose the pawn. And I just thought, hey, what if I just go queen d3? This move doesn't do too much, but I do set up the move a5. So basically, king g8, I'm looking at a5. And maybe a6. Right, and now I do have defense over here, so at least I'm trying to, you know, do something logical. But he goes rook g8. Queen d3, probably not the best move. I mean, if anything, rook a3, preemptively stopping any infiltration was good. Bishop c1 also made sense, but now we see the benefit of having the bishop on d2 to begin with was to meet that kingside attack, which I did not meet. So I went queen d3, went rook g8. And at this point, I actually considered the move g4. This is a pretty outlandish move, but it stops him from going g4. I just thought it's too weakening. I can't play like that. I'm going to go g3. g3 makes sense. It stops knight f4. If he goes g4, I'm going to go h4. I'm not going to let him in. I actually thought he has to do that anyway. I thought he has to go like this. And yeah, this would have been sharp, man. This would have been crazy. I don't know what would have happened if he played like this. But this was the closest we were on time and the closest we were in the game. And had he committed to this, who knows what would have happened. But he decided to get rid of my knight, and I think that this is just an inaccuracy. I think there was no need to rush this move. Rook takes e5, and now he plays g4. So he goes for it like this, but I just play h4, and he doesn't really have a follow-up. The difference is that with f4 and his bishop here, at least he would have still been pressuring me, and maybe on h4. He obviously just didn't see much of a way forward, and at this point, it still did not feel particularly pleasant for me. Like, I have to say. I mean, I just thought he's going to go f4, which makes sense. I was going to play like bishop c1. And if he takes and plays like rook ef8 with ideas of queen f2, I did not know what was happening in this position. Because if queen f3, if I take, he opens up his other rook. You know, maybe I play something like king h2, but then he can check me. I don't know. This felt and looked dangerous. But the computer is unimpressed wholeheartedly. It's just like, oh, you're defending everything. And I would have gone for this probably. And maybe I would have went on to win. But he hesitated. And he went here. And now I started coming up with this really cool idea. So I was like, hey, what if I could take on d5 and get my bishop to the dark squares? So something like rook takes, pawn takes, rook e8, queen e8. The problem with this line is that I lose my rook and my bishop is too far away. So I was like, okay, well, what if I play bishop c1 and when he plays f4, then I sack the rook. And the point is, ed, rook e8, queen e8, bishop f4. I was looking at this position, and I was like, I don't think I can lose this. Because my king is safe now, and I'm always threatening to promote. And in the endgame, I might just straight up be winning if we trade the pawns the wrong way. But wouldn't it be great if he couldn't take with the e-pawn? Like, he had to take with the c-pawn, and I just got a pass pawn. And you know what's funny is I've seen Magnus win games like this. Like, I've seen Magnus in an endgame just give up a rook for a knight or a rook for a bishop, and material is the same. Maybe he has one extra pawn, but even sometimes it's just a rook for a knight. But because black's rooks are so passive and the pawn structure is so bad, he just wins. I was like, wait, I think this is a real thing. But to set it up, I need time. I need one more move. I need to play queen e2, rook d5, so that he has to take with the c-pawn instead of the e-pawn. So if he plays f4 now, I'm not going to get this. If he played f4, I was going to play, like I said, I was going to probably play like queen e2. And although the computer just says take with the bishop, knight takes, pawn takes, and if queen f4, apparently I can play like any move, frankly, but rook f5 is just advantage white. I probably would not have played rook f5. That's kind of a crazy move. I would have maybe gone queen e3. And now white just actually just has a better rook in game because black is so passive. So he waited. He hesitated and went h6. And when he played h6, I knew he was going to blunder this. h6 is a hesitating move. h6 is like, I don't know if I should commit to this. So I went queen e2. Quickly. To sort of send him the message of, I'm just going to stall until your time goes to 0. And you're obviously, you're afraid to play the move f4. And then he went f4. And when he went f4, I was like, it's like an anime moment every time, you know? Like, I just go, you know that, like, what did they say in the Omae wa mou shinderu? It's like, yeah. Don't you know what I'm famous for? Haven't you seen the compilations? And I took on d5, and I screamed it in his face. I actually got her from the board and screamed, "The rook!" No, but joking aside, I was very happy I set this up because the point is that I always have queen e5 check now as well. Also, g3, f2 is protected, so he cannot play f takes g3. And when he takes with the pawn, now I have a passed c-pawn in every endgame. And that's huge. So I get a knight and a pawn. I have total defense for my king. I'm just going to go queen e5, rook c1, c6, c7. And I just thought I must be winning. I just kind of trusted that I must be winning. And I think here, to be honest, the best move for black is to play the move e5. I think he has to play this move. He needs to sacrifice a pawn. And the point of this move is that at least he liberates his rook. And maybe he can survive. But what he did in the game, which was quickly play a move out of frustration, certainly doesn't work. Because now I play queen c2. I threaten h5. He now has to move his king. And now his rook will never move. And I was very happy I found this sequence. Because now his rook is totally stuck. And my bishop is not stuck. My bishop has a monster outpost, and I'm just going to go c6, take c7, rook b1, rook b8, and just win the game. He went queen f5. Of course, I probably can trade queens, but the worst part about trading the queens is that I activate his other rook. So I went queen d2, queen f7, rook c1. He went to defend himself, and I went queen a5. Actually, here I blundered something unbelievably stupid. I just thought he can't even play b6 because I have queen a6, which apparently I have, but I was like, he's going to mate me. But I can just play rook f1. And apparently, this is still just completely winning for white. But I did not like that I'm destabilizing my bishop. I don't know. I was just seeing all sorts of nonsense. Instead, I just went back to d2, and I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to promote. He took, I took. My bishop is destabilized, but this is such a nice position. I wish every position I ever played looked like this. Also, while we were in a big scramble, there was a game going on between two young kids elsewhere in the room. And basically from like here, like the tensest moment of the game, one of those kids just coughed for like an hour straight. Like there's a dog on our floor that barks, and you know, it's like a double bark. It's like a row row. Like this poor kid was double coughing, like, and I was like watching my opponent and everybody around me just lose their mind because it was just so debilitating on the chest. So I was very happy that the position was turning in my favor while this was happening, because yeah, and so that couldn't have helped. It definitely couldn't have helped that he blundered the rook sacrifice and there was coughing for an hour straight. Chess tournaments are just the worst, man. I hot take, I feel like kids and adults should be separated. I think like under 20 should play each other. And if you're like 17, 18, maybe you can go to the next, I don't know. I just feel like for ELO, for behavior, like it's just, goodness. So poor guy, my poor opponent, I was just watching him get so annoyed. But I felt good, you know, and I queen a5, queen d2. And I like to share these little stories. I don't share, like, there are so many things my opponents do during these games. Not this guy, he was, I mean, except looking at the board from the other side. But, like, I play so many young kids, and so many of the young kids that I have played have behaved like imbeciles. Oh, my goodness, at the board. But I'm 30, like, what am I gonna, you know? But it's just, I mean, it is really funny. And I hope, like, if my kid plays chess one day, if and when, I'm going to teach them manners. Anyway, I played c6. I took the pawn with check. I went back, and this is just over. What's funny is that he gave me this pawn with check, but taking it is not good because I just activate his... I mean, it's +7. It's, dare I say, +6, +7. And I won. It was a very smooth conversion. Now, I have to say, like, this was a really nice game in retrospect. I went and I analyzed it, and I was like, oh, I just played a nice game. Oh, okay, that was a good game. It didn't feel so good. Like, it didn't feel that smooth when in the opening I didn't quite get what I wanted, and here he just had a chance to completely equalize. So, I mean, I definitely missed my biggest chance here. Instead of considering knight h4, I could have just went knight e1. And then if he had played something like e6, I could have went for f3, knight f6, and the immediate e4. Knight e1 is pretty instructive. I probably should have went knight e1 to prepare a very quick f3, but I did feel like his counterplay was quite fast with e5. This would have required a bit deeper calculation. I would have had to calculate f3, something like queen g5, attacking this pawn. Then I would have had to take the knight. He would have taken on e3, king h1, de, bishop e2, and I would have had a piece for 2 pawns. This actually looks very dangerous for white, but bishop c1, nice move. d3, bishop e3, dc, knight c2, bishop a1, knight a1. So I had to calculate this 16-ply sequence, 16 moves, and realize I had a slightly better position. But when I saw that e5 was coming, I I kind of traded the pieces a little too quickly. But overall, yeah, I mean, a nice game, and I have 2 out of 2. So, and for all this hard-fought effort of like 3.5, 4 hours, I gain 1 rating point. What a game. What a game. All right. I will see you all for the next video. Friendly reminder, if you're enjoying these videos, do let me know in the comments. I got books. I got courses. You can learn from me. I can learn from me too. And I will see you for the next recap. Get out of here.